Sandstorm, a story for Joe O'Hagan. As he drove the route from Benghazi to Tobruk, he came across artillery shells that had shredded themselves in buildings already sprayed with bullets and blood, and now with words in a language he could not speak. Like colossal wrecks, the tanks, buildings, and even the odd piece of aircraft, too, seemed to echo the words of Shelley's Ozymandias, "Look on my works, ye mighty, and despair." The sun beat down on Joe as his mouth dried up like a well in a desert and sweat poured from him like water from a jug. Joe bumped along an uneven stretch of road, pulled out a hanky from his pocket to mop his brow and neck, and squinted in the sunlight hitting the windscreen and blinding him. With the midday heat rising, Joe counted down the miles back to camp and dreamt of putting a cold bottle of water to his forehead and then his lips. As he tried to distract himself from the carnage at the side of the road and the rising temperature inside his truck, he saw it in the distance, a sandstorm heading straight towards him. As he looked at it from his rearview mirror, Joe could swear he saw two eyes, a nose and a mouth forming in its howling interior. He rubbed his eye and shook his head. But when the grinning countenance did not fade like a mirage, and then opened its mouth as it gained on him, Joe put his foot down on the pedal, drove the last few miles to the camp with his heart in his mouth and his blood in his ears. As he approached the camp and they let him in, the sandstorm veered off in another direction. "Did you see the sandstorm?" Joe asked. The guard simply nodded, for it was too hot to waste words. As Joe turned and looked out at the desert expanse, he saw the sandstorm turn to reveal its face again to him. It winked at Joe and then billowed forth across the desert floor as the sand stretched out towards the horizon.